Hey guys, CB here. Alex and I decided to make a little through fishing video showing what we're going to be bringing on the PCT and help set you guys up for success in terms of what the fish are looking for and what we've decided are the best products. I'll move from left to right. This is what Alex is going to be taking on the PCT. Tenkara rod. Basically what the Tenkara offers that a traditional fly fishing rod won't be able to offer you is you can set it up in a matter of literal seconds. So you're just going to telescope the rod out. And that's simple. You're now ready to go. You got the fly picked on the handle here and you're able to go. The only trouble is obviously without the reel, once you hook onto a fish and you get the hook set, you're then gonna have to bring the fish in until you have the ability to start hand lining in. That's the one tricky part where some of your fish are gonna be able to get away. But like I originally said, you're gonna be able to set up the rod very, very quickly and get the fly in the water as soon as possible. So this is what I'm gonna be using. This is an Echo carbon fiber 2-weight. I really like Echo's products. I used Echo rods when I was in Alaska fishing for salmon. Obviously those were 8-weight rods. This is their 2-weight carbon fiber version. And then for the reel, I've chosen a Redington Zero. It's the most ultralight fly reel on the market right now. It's a matter of very little ounces and it can go in your pack extremely easy with any sort of fly rod. Yep, so here's the rod totally assembled. It's 7'3" inches, so it's almost a full 3 inches shorter than the Tenkara. But because of the bend that the carbon fiber offers, it's more of your butter stick that you'd use for creek fishing. You're still able to cast it way out there, and having some high quality line made by Rio or any of the other big name brands is going to help you in terms of casting. Pretty easy setup, and because it's carbon fiber, it should hold pretty resilient on the Pacific Crest Trail. Okay, so for the actual equipment that I have in my nifty fly bag here, we've got a basic assortment of the most essential fly fishing gear, and I haven't gone with a bunch of multiples in order to save on weight and space. I've got just the basics here. So you'll see here I have an assortment from flies ranging all the way from dries to emergers to bead-headed nymphs, even to some egg patterns. These are some of my favorite patterns that I had in Alaska, as well as using them in Colorado, so we'll see how they do in California. An important note that I would recommend for using flies that I see most anglers make a big mistake is they always seem to get flies that are bigger than the fish can actually take, especially when you're in the backcountry, you know, primarily where the PCT is going to be located. The fish are going to be really small, all right? So if you have a hook that's too big, it simply won't be able to fit in the fish's mouth. However, if you have a very small fly, 18 and smaller, even a big fish can take a smaller fly and you're going to bring them in. I always recommend you urge on the side of smaller when it comes to fly fishing, especially with backcountry. Going back to the gear now, we've got the leader. I'd recommend not using anything bigger than 5X. I've got 3X here simply because we'll be using 5X tippet, but the 3X is just going to be able to be durable and stay with us hopefully for as long as possible on the PCT. I've got floatant for the dry flies, split shot, a thingamabobber for when the rivers get too fast and we need to match the riffle. Over here, you notice these aren't flies, and you're correct. These are lures for emergency days. What I normally like to do is start out with a dry fly if I see the fish are biting. From there, if they're not going for a dry fly, I'll normally go for a nymph, an emerger. And then even after that, if they still aren't biting, what I like to do is take one of these that's just a normal lure jig you can buy at any store, and then you're simply going to put on a power bait worm. And they're not scented with anything, they're just gummy, and they put on a bigger profile for it. And that's sort of my last ditch effort if for whatever reason I can't get the fish to strike. It's a very, very hard pattern for any fish to not go for. Here's the tippet, as I mentioned. I've got 6X fluoro and I believe, 4X power flex. Nippers for if a fish gets everyone knows what this is, self-explanatory. And when we go to catch fish, we're actually going to be eating our fish. This is a great way to string them up. You can keep them in the water. They're going to stay cold. They're not going to get rotten and nasty like fish tend to do. And then your classic clippers just for putting the tippet on the leader. So as we mentioned before, we're going to be attempting the Heritage Trout Challenge. It's going to be quite an undertaking, pretty difficult. We're confident we can pull it off, and part of it is thanks to this book that we found. It's Trout Fishing the Pacific Crest Trail by Simon Melrose. This has been pretty invaluable for us for our planning purposes, figuring out which parts of the river we definitely want to make sure we don't miss, and even take some 0 days trying to get those harder fish like the McLeod River red band and so on. So that wraps up the gear that we're going to be bringing on the Pacific Crest Trail. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know if you have any questions about the gear we're bringing or you need more information. Please follow along, and we're excited to experience this with you guys.
Ooh, that was bullseye.